Yo, yo, it's Gio from Gio Knows Nothing, back with another episode. But, quickly, just to get this out of the way, something's gonna be kind of special about this episode. Trying out having a co-host. If all goes well, we will be putting out the episode in this format every single week. So, without further ado, I introduce to you my boy Eric B, one half of Eric B and Geo Kim, with I. Eric, introduce yourself.
Yeah, what's up, guys? I'm really excited to join you here today, Gio. Let's see how this goes. I think we might be able to catch lightning in a bottle here. Might have something.
Yeah, man, we just gotta keep grinding and pump out content. If all goes well, be making the big bucks.
Listen, if I can just get to the point where like we're gonna get paid to shill dick pills to wrestling fans, like I'm all for it. Like that's my goal here.
Yeah, I'm just here in hopes that we get to read Blue Chew advertisements.
Yeah, and Manscaped. Do not forget Manscaped. If we can get free ball raisers out of this, like it's a win.
If there's a sponsor Geo needs, it's Manscaped. So Manscaped, if somehow you come across this video, Twitter's in the description. Set me up, please. All right, so getting into our show, we're gonna be starting with some MLB news. Me and Eric, both big fans of the MLB, both big Red Sox fans, even though the Red Sox aren't doing shit this offseason, essentially, so far at least. So, George Springer, one of Eric's favorite players in the league, just got signed to the Toronto Blue Jays, $150 million for 6 years. Eric, please tell me your raw, uncut opinion, not only on this signing, but of George Springer.
Dude, fuck George Springer. Literally everything about that guy. Just like, oh my God, looking at his face, I just want to just knock him out. Like, between everything that's happened, like, the dude, like, oh, I can't even put it into words half the time. Like, how does a guy like this get paid $25 million a year to play baseball? I don't get it. Sure, he's got some decent stats, but, like, he's not, like, in the top of the league or anything. Like, how much is Mookie Betts getting paid a year? Like, I don't know, 30 million?
I think 30 million, 35 million.
Is this guy really that close to Mookie Betts? Like, it's crazy. Because, like, first off, the guy's entire career is built on cheating. Problem number one. Problem number two, even if he wasn't cheating, everyone else around him was cheating, and he was benefiting from those pumped up numbers. Like, this is like in the steroid era where every guy was roided up. And now all of a sudden, like, we're looking back on it and be like, oh, you know, what, this guy was actually a really great player. It's like, well, yeah, he was great. Of course he was great. He had a needle hanging out of his ass the whole time. Like, oh my God. Like, especially on a team that's like, they got Vladdy Jr., they got Kevin Biggio, they got Bo Bichette. Like, this is a good ball team.
Yeah, Toronto has a nice young team.
Oh, I hate this guy. Do you know he went to UConn? UConn is literally like the worst fucking place.
Did he?
Yeah. Motherfucker went to UConn.
I didn't even know UConn has like a lit baseball program.
They don't have a lit baseball program. They have a baseball program.
It just exists. It's just there.
It's okay. It's pretty good, but you know, I don't want to give him credit.
So just for clarification, he's hated George Springer even before he found out that he was cheating. I, for one, was a fan of George Springer before the Astros got caught cheating. He has a stutter, much like myself, so that made me gravitate towards him on top of him putting up good seasons. But once it came out that he was a part of that cheating Astros team, I quickly detached myself from him, Jose Altuve, especially Carlos Correa, and that one pains me the most because fellow Puerto Rican, I remember the day he got drafted, I was watching on MLB Network, and they said, #1 overall pick from Puerto Rico, and I said, huh? Who's that? Carlos Correa, and immediately I was a fan just because he was Puerto Rican, but now I hate him because he's a cheater, and the way he went about them getting caught cheating was just really fucking shitty.
Yeah, and I used to like Correa too. It's not even like I hated George Springer because he was on the Astros. Like,
yeah, I loved him.
I liked Altuve. I hated Springer. I liked Correa. Like, I didn't hate these guys, but like, my God, you guys got caught with your hand in the cookie jar, and you're just sitting there like, oh, well, you had nothing to do with it. Yeah, you did. Everyone knows you did. You can hear the banging on the trash cans. So like, go ahead, George Springer, go bang your trash cans in friggin' Toronto, or not Toronto because we're in the middle of a massive pandemic and you can't travel to and from Canada. So go bang your trash cans in Buffalo or wherever the hell it is you're going to be playing this year. And you know what? I hope Garrett Cole throws a ball and hits you square in the ass. Like, I hope it just doubles the size of your ass.
Wasn't Garrett Cole on that team though?
Yeah, but Garrett Cole tried to play like well, I was one of the good guys on the team. Like, all the pitchers were like, oh, we had nothing to do with it. It's like, yeah, you were there. You were benefiting it. You were getting run support from it. You didn't give a shit. You were happy it was happening.
Except for the one pitcher that essentially exposed them, Mike Fires.
You know what? I hope Trevor Bauer signs in the AL East
Hey,
and just drills George Springer.
pause.
I don't care if Trevor Bauer signs with the Yankees, although I want him to sign with the Red Sox so bad.
Yeah, and I think that they would have actually had a shot if they were making fucking moves.
Well, I'll get to that in a second, but yeah, someone just needs to drill George Springer.
Pause.
Like, the MLB was a joke about it, and I think that just kind of accentuates my hatred of the man. So, but Trevor Bauer, there is no perfect match made in heaven than Trevor Bauer and the Boston media.
You think?
Like, just think of the things that Mike Felger and Tony Maserati would say about him.
I mean,
And just the thought of Trevor Bauer showing up in the studio one day with a bucket of baseballs to throw at them.
I mean, Trevor Bauer is honestly probably like my top either 2 or my favorite pitcher in the league currently. So him being on my favorite team would be dream come true. Either that or Lindor coming to the Red Sox, but you know.
Yeah, but Lindor's a Met now, so that's unfortunately not going to happen.
I mean, shout out to the Mets though. Second episode in a row, I'm bringing up Lindor. I'm sucking him.
Well, Puerto Ricans, man, you got to stick together.
Yeah.
The Mets are doing big things. The Blue Jays, unfortunately, as much as I hate George Springer, and I don't think it was a great signing, the Blue Jays are doing things.
Yeah, they got George Springer and Kirby Yates in the same day, and the Kirby Yates signing kind of got, not even kind of, it literally got overshadowed by the George Springer signing, but Kirby Yates could be a very suitable closer for them.
Yeah, and oh man, the AL East is going to be loaded this year. That's going to be a good division because Tampa just finds a way to keep winning.
Yeah, but I mean, their team has gotten worse since then too. At least since they lost Blake Snell.
That's true, but like, how many times have they traded a pitcher and they just went next man up? It happens all the time.
I mean, again, Tyler Glasnow, one of my favorite pitchers in the league. I'm looking forward to him having a nasty season next season.
Yeah. So, the Rays are just a well-built organization, next man up, a lot like the Cardinals, actually.
True.
A very similar vein. Blue Jays are making big moves. The Yankees, out of all of this, the Yankees got Corey Kluber. Tanaka's still in the mix. Like, they might get Trevor Bauer. That team is going to be terrifying.
If they get Trevor Bauer and they have Trevor Bauer and Garrett Cole in the same rotation, bro, like, what's a nastier 1-2 punch?
Corey Kluber and Trevor Bauer 5 years ago.
True. Or Darvish and Snell on the Padres.
That's a good one. Crap, who am I thinking of? DeGrom and whoever comes after DeGrom, because DeGrom is that good.
I mean, DeGrom Syndergaard when Syndergaard is healthy.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, Syndergaard is still really damn good. DeGrom is just so good. It doesn't matter who you put behind him; they get better by being near DeGrom.
Yeah, but on the flip side of the whole Trevor Bauer free agency, what if he goes to the Mets?
You know what? If he goes to the Mets, Steve Cohen is going to have a statue built of himself.
GM of the year already.
He's the owner.
Owner of the year already.
Oh, yeah, no, they don't have a GM because their GM got fired for sending a picture of his hog to a female reporter years ago.
I didn't put that in the notes for a reason.
You can edit that out.
That's fine. No, it's fine. It adds character. Talking about wieners.
Oh, good. Talking about hogs.
Men out there, please don't send hogs to women that don't want to see hogs. Keep the hammer to yourself.
Really don't.
Please.
Yeah, just Keep it in your pants, for the love of God.
Uh,
If you want a career,
uh,
just keep your dick in your pants.
all right. So speaking of keeping dicks where they belong, Michael Brantley is going back to the dick team of the MLB, the Houston Astros, on a 2-year, $32 million deal. Michael Brantley, aging, but still very capable of doing a good job. He hits for average. We already know he has no pop. His defense is terrible. But, they could always play him at DH if worse comes to worse.
They did last year, and he hit 300, 364 OBP, OPS of 840. Solid season.
Decent season. Also got to take it with a grain of salt since it was such a short season, first one of its kind.
Yeah, only 46 games played for him.
Also gets injured a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the last 3 full seasons he's been an all-star, so.
He had a very good 2019 as well.
Well, yeah, 2019 he was an all-star. 17, 18, 19.
Yeah.
All all-star years for him. So, I mean, yeah, he'll be a good pickup. But, see how you do in a full season where you're not banging on trash cans.
Was he on that team?
Yeah, he was on the 2019 Astros.
I feel like Michael Brantley never got shit for that.
But yeah, he was only there for a single year. But
True.
yeah, I mean his years, and you know what? I even have trouble saying his years in Cleveland made up for it, because he had one really great season in Cleveland, one good season in Cleveland, and then he had a few good years in Cleveland actually. So I won't lump him in with all the barrel thumpers.
The barrel thumpers.
But, as far as I'm concerned, once you were involved in it, there's no way getting out.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we have our own little cheating scandal in Boston, unfortunately. The Alex Cora.
I still feel that way about Alex Cora. He's got a stink on him that I don't think will ever wash away.
Yeah, but they rehired him.
Yeah, mixed feelings about that. The team seems to love him, but I don't know. I don't understand how you can trust a guy like that to run your organization. Especially someone who's had 2 cheating programs unveiled in the same offseason. Granted, the Red Sox cheating was a little less
egregious.
I'll say grotesque. I'll say the Astros cheating was grotesque. But the Red Sox cheating, it was
Made
bad.
Me sick to my stomach.
I mean, it's just a middle finger to everyone, really. But the Red Sox were they got slapped on the wrist, and that's really all they deserved.
I agree. No bias.
They were using the video replay room when they shouldn't have, but their whole cheating scheme required a guy to be on second base for it to work. So what are you going to do? They still had to get the guy to second base first.
We got some breaking news while we're recording. Literally, as we were saying, what the fuck are the Red Sox going to do? I go on Instagram, and I see it was announced that the Red Sox have picked up Kike Hernandez. Shout out Kike Hernandez, mi boricua. So much Puerto Ricanness in the first 2 episodes, man.
Yeah, I mean, you love your roots, man. I'll give you that.
Hey, gotta support. So yeah, Kike Hernandez hopefully may be playing second base for us. We might need an outfielder if we trade Andrew Benintendi.
I hope we don't trade Benny Biceps. I love him.
I mean, I did say it wouldn't be a big loss to the team last episode.
I know. We can disagree about things. We're adults. But yeah, I mean, Kike Hernandez he's certainly a signing. I'm not that enamored. I think this is a good depth signing, if nothing else. The guy's single season career high batting average, in which he's played more than half a season, is 256. If he's someone who can show up and hit 240 like he has throughout his career, I think he'll be a good guy to come off the bench. But I mean, nothing special, nothing really to get excited about, which is unfortunate because they were in on Jerks and Profar, and last I heard, he was going to San Diego, I believe. Profar went to San Diego, 3 years, $21 million.
I mean, I'm excited for this trade because he's Puerto Rican, and as Eric just stated, stat line wise, he's not great by any means. Like Eric said, a bench player at best. But one thing he brings to the team, an intangible, he has the heart, man. He has the heart.
But Brock Holt had the heart.
Yeah, and Brock Holt had the heart on the Red Sox for a while.
And Brock Holt would have cost them a lot less than $7 million a year.
Yeah, but
I think that's what really gets me is that they got rid of Mookie Betts because they had all these bad contracts, but they just signed what is a guy who's basically a bench player. I mean, he plays a lot, but he's one of those guys who he was like Brock Holt. Brock Holt played like every day, but every day that Brock Holt played was somebody's day off. He's in this weird space where he could be a critical piece of the lineup, but if you lose him, it's not the end of the world because you still have your starters.
Not, that's a good way to phrase it, for you to say that it's a shitty trade. Or a shitty signing.
I don't think it's a bad signing necessarily. The Boston Red Sox shouldn't be getting excited about Kike Hernandez. I'll put it that way.
I mean,
what does it give you?
Output-wise, not much. A solid guy that could be like a fan favorite.
Maybe he plays some center field?
Nah, because weren't they going to move Verdugo to center?
I don't know.
That's what I heard.
Right, and that would make the most sense. Because if you had an outfield of Benintendi, Verdugo, and then predominantly JD Martinez, because I know JD Martinez wants to play right field. So if you make your outfield Benintendi, Verdugo, JD.
Is that on record?
Yeah, I remember when he signed with the Red Sox, he was hesitant about signing in the AL because he didn't want to just be a DH.
But he's not that great in the field.
Yeah, he's not. That's concerning. If Verdugo's going to move to center, does Benintendi move to right?
Then have JD in left?
Yeah, I don't want JD in right. Right field at Fenway Park with JD frickin' Martinez. That's triple alley right there.
Yeah, if they hit that down the line and it fucking wraps around. I mean, Benny is a better defender and he has better speed.
I would like to see Benintendi move over there, if they keep him, that is. I guess Kike Hernandez could be a decent outfield piece because their outfield depth isn't that great.
Yeah, because then if they trade Benny, it could be JD, Verdugo, and then Kike and right.
Oh, wait, they signed Hunter Renfroe?
They did. They did, and he plays right?
Yeah, he does play right. You know what? That might be one of those sneaky signings.
That is a sneaky signing because we literally just said, when the fuck did that happen?
Yeah. Oh, man. I always love a guy that hits 33 home runs and has 60 RBI.
Damn.
No one was getting on base for him.
Yeah, it kind of just proves that if he was on a good team, his stat line would look a little bit better.
Yeah. So actually, yeah, Benintendi or JD in left, Verdugo in center, and Renfroe in right.
I wonder if that's why they want to trade Benny, because JD wants to play outfield, and they're gonna have to put him in left.
It could be.
Huh. So that means Kike will start at second, which is their weakest spot in my opinion.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what they do because right now they have Michael Chavis is listed as a second baseman right now.
But he plays first, right? Mostly.
Well, Bobby Dahlbeck's coming up, so.
Yeah. And they're moving him from third to first. They got Rafi.
Yeah.
Chavis off the bench, or even Kike off the bench.
Well, I'd rather see Kike off the bench. If Chavis can play second base, I know the dude's hauling a dunk, so.
Yeah, he has a big old fat donkey ass. Pause.
Yeah, I mean that dude swings from his ass and hits the ball a fucking mile when he makes contact, like Mike Napoli did.
Yo, shout out to Mike Napoli, bro. Shout out to Mike Napoli, Red Sox fucking postseason legend.
Yeah, I'm trying to see when did they sign Renfroe because I never even heard about that.
That might have been maybe like a month ago, maybe.
December 14th, they signed him as a free agent.
Oh, literally a month ago. Hey, shout out to me. Maybe I did see it and I just forgot. Hey, Gio does know something. Let's go.
The Red Sox lineup doesn't look too terrible.
If Rafi could not shit the bed for a whole season, almost.
You got Vasquez behind the plate.
Underrated catcher, in my opinion.
Oh, one of the best defensive catchers in the game.
Yeah, and last year he stepped it up offensively.
Vasquez behind the plate. Let's say Chavis catches on at second. Then you got Dahlbeck at first, Chavis at second, Xander at short, Rafi at third, Benny, JD, Verdugo, and Renfroe.
We were such a fucking shit box last season.
Maybe it's just because we're comparing them to the Yankees and the Blue Jays and that piece of shit George Springer.
Literally. I can't think of a good segue for this.
Getting to a more serious tone for a second. We record this show on a Friday night. So, today, as of recording, January 22nd, 2021, baseball lost one of their greatest ambassadors. And, Hank Aaron, I don't know about you, Gio, but that guy was he was something else. He really just kind of exuded a different type of energy about the game. And I just think back to one of my earliest baseball memories probably has to be watching Sports Center on the anniversary of him hitting his record-setting home run and his trot around the bases and people from Milwaukee leaping over the fence to celebrate and congratulate with him.
Yeah, that one dude, like as he's rounding third, he just comes up and gives him a big ass high five.
Yeah, like that was cool. Obviously, you'll never see anything like that happen ever again, but I thought that was a really cool kind of moment.
Yeah, man. Yeah, much like you, growing up, I remember I had this one book that was all about sports, and there was a section in the book that had like the records basically throughout every single sport, and I remember Hank Aaron's name would always come up, and like I had no idea who he was up until that point until I started watching MLB Network. They would have this show, like a top nine show, and he would always be like top one when they would do like the best home runs of all time because of what you just said, the same clip that you watched on ESPN. And I feel like something that really sums up who he is was Freddie Freeman's Instagram post, and I will read that right now very quickly. He says, "The word that keeps coming to me when I think about Hank Aaron is love. He was the epitome of it. Every conversation and every meeting you had with him, he made you feel loved. A legend in every sense of the word. Hank has meant so much to me and so much to the Atlanta community and beyond. Hank was one of the greatest baseball players of all time, a champion civil rights activist, and a role model for everyone. Thank you, Mr. Aaron, for everything you gave and taught." And that just goes to show what a leader he was on and off the field, even years past his playing days, always coming back to the Atlanta Braves organization and helping younger talent evolve to the superstars that we see today on our TVs.
Yeah, and speaking of superstars, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Hank Aaron really was like the first black African American superstar in baseball. Like Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier. There were guys who came from the Negro leagues like Satchel Paige, but Hank Aaron was an MLB player through and through from day one to his retirement. And I don't know enough about the history, but it really does seem like he was the first true like black generational talent and the first guy to become a superstar after Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier.
Yeah, I too don't necessarily know the nuance of it, but the thing that I want to single out is Freddie saying he's one of the best baseball players of all time, because I feel like his name doesn't get brought up as much as it should when people talk about the greatest players of all time. Honestly, in my opinion, like he's first in RBIs all time, first in extra base hits, first in total bases. He's had 25 All-Star appearances, which is the most of all time, and he actually has more All-Star appearances than years played, because he played at a time where they would like there were a couple years where they would have two All-Star games during one season. He's second in home runs to some people. To me, he's number one. He's third in hits, and he's tied for fourth in runs all time. He's top five in most major statistical categories, and I feel like he doesn't get brought up enough as one of the greatest players of all time.
He really was like he was one of those guys that transcended the game, and rightfully so.
Yeah, R.I.P. to a legend. We've lost too many baseball legends recently, man. We lost Don Sutton, Joe Morgan, Tom Seaver, Bob Gibson. I think there's one more. Tommy Lasorda.
Well, the one thing I'll say about losing all these guys is if you look at when they played, the years that they played, the years that they managed, these guys lived a long, long, happy life. So
He died at 86, man.
yeah, if there's any consolation, is that these guys didn't go too early.
So R.I.P. to them. R.I.P. to everybody we lost recently. But on a less somber note, let's get into some wrestling. Wednesday night, we had AEW.
Maybe talking about people dying wasn't the best segue to talk about Brody Lee Jr.'s birthday segment on AEW, but here we are.
Shit.
Yeah.
But at least it was a happy celebration.
Oh, it was a very happy celebration. Oh man, Brody Lee Jr. -1, chef's kiss. He's already got the knack, and I love it.
Like, just imagine how big of a star he's gonna be, man. That is if he actually wants to go into it, like, for real.
Yeah, I hope he can learn to go in the ring, because if he can really pick it up and learn it, that kid's going to be someone to watch in about 10 years. But his birthday was something else.
Yeah, show opened up with all the Dark Order coming out on stage. Brody Lee on top of Preston Vance's shoulders. They're best friends. They have a table with some cake on it. Silver has a mic. Silver is fantastic. I love him with everything I am. I just want to see him do good. He cuts a promo, gets out his famous being the elite line, Johnny Hungy! They end up singing happy birthday to Mr. Brody Lee Jr. But Chaos Project comes out. Luther, everybody's aunt, is on the mic, and he tells Brody Lee that they're here to ruin his birthday.
Yeah, Luther. Everyone knows they have a great aunt like Luther that sounds just like him. And she wants to come in, pinch your cheeks, ruin your birthday, like he tried to ruin for Brody Jr.
She comes in smelling like cigarettes. Gets mad close to your face. Says, "Oh, I haven't seen you since you were little."
With her weird friend in tow, who for some reason is still wearing a mask.
Oh man! Obviously, after they get in Brody Lee Jr.'s face, Dark Order's not gonna have that shit. So they attack. TH2 comes out. They take the fight to ringside, and Hangman Page comes out. Big dive off the stage into the 8-man tag match: Silver, Reynolds, Colt, Adam Page himself versus Chaos Project and TH2.
So yeah, everything about this whole segment from beginning to end was just incredible. My favorite parts really had to be the continued inclusion of Brody Lee's family. Like, it really makes AEW feel like it's, something more than just, a weekly television show. It really does make it feel like, these are people that do care about each other. They do have a great time together, and they're just having a blast. So I really love that because it just adds to the feel. And it's one of those things where, like, I don't know about you, but I got back into wrestling a few years ago after an independent show in Connecticut. And then I found Being the Elite. And these guys are just masters. Like, they really have a magic to them where everything feels so personal, and it feels like it's personal to you. And they just captured that in Dynamite. And everything just feels so connected, and you feel so part of it. His family, they're taken care of. That they're going to the lengths that they're willing to go to help in such a difficult time. And it really kind of makes it feels like something you're not used to seeing.
I remember after they announced that this was going to be like a celebration of Negative One's birthday, there were a lot of people on Twitter that were trying to accuse AEW of leeching off of the death of Brody Lee, and it's just like, nah, man, it's not that at all. Like, if anything, this is like the best case scenario that his family is literally taken care of forever. Their family has another family and a whole company of people that are always going to be there for them and always going to do what's best for them and help them out whenever they see fit.
Yeah, and the thing you have to always remember too is that, think of it from the perspective of Amanda Huber and her kids, is that she just lost her husband, they just lost their father. Like, this is a very traumatic time for these kids. And, being around AEW, Brody Jr. hanging out with Cody and Preston Vance and going to Disney World. I think it was Disney World, at least. Might have been like Universal.
Nah, it was Disney World.
Yeah. So going to Disney with Cody, with Preston Vance, his favorite wrestlers, people he looked up to aside from his father. And now he knows that, like, he's not alone. And that can be a very difficult thing for kids when they lose a parent. So if you find fault with them doing this, I think the fault might be with you yourself. But, like, aside from just the general birthday celebration, and I loved when he took the mic and he turned and yelled at the Dark Order and was like, "My birthday was 3 days ago, you idiots." That was like one of the funniest things I've ever heard. It was awesome.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't expecting it at all. Then they gave him the papers and he threw him at fucking Serpentico after the match.
That was awesome. But, the real point of that segment, to drive everything home, was, Hangman joining the Dark Order, will he or won't he? And he didn't, after all. I thought for certain he was going to in some capacity, even if it was just like a loose affiliation. Like, if you guys ever need me, you know where to find me, come get me. But at least for now, they're kicking the can down the road a little bit. And that segment where they thought he was going to say yes.
It's hilarious.
Oh my God. Just the sight of Uno, Stu, and Anna running around the stage trying to get everything in order while like the he said yes banner flashed up the Tron, and what I refer to as the sexy creepers started coming out. I'm sorry, the sexy cowboy
There
creepers.
was one, yeah, there was one in like a horse
It was,
suit, like dressed like a
oh my
cowboy.
god, that was so funny. Like it felt like a
Bro, I was
BTE bit,
dying.
and I think that's what I loved about it so
Literally.
much was that like they just got to show themselves and they got to show their characters and who they are, and that's so
Yeah,
rare to find guys who can just have that kind of fun.
I feel like that's mainly the appeal for most people when it comes to AEW as a whole. Is that they just let the wrestlers do them. They let the wrestlers be who they want to be, and they even let them take their characters from BTE and put them on the main show. Like BTE is literally canon for AEW. I love it.
I know, it's awesome. So I remember, have you heard John Silver and Alex Reynolds on the AEW Unrestricted pod?
Yes.
Oh, the way John Silver was talking about his interactions with Tony Khan, saying like, yeah, I started doing stuff on BT and they let me be funny, and then Tony came up to me and was like, hey, why aren't you doing that on my TV show? Why are you doing it for free on YouTube? And he's like, oh, I thought he was mad at me and he was going to start yelling at me, but he told me to start doing it on TV, so now I'm doing it on TV. And it's so good. He just hits it all so perfectly.
John Silver is a national treasure, and he must
He,
be protected at all costs.
at all costs, including, if we have to sacrifice Stu, we're going to have to sacrifice Stu.
Hey, all we need is player one, really.
Yeah, I hope those two get to do something soon too, because they're just phenomenal. But John Silver he's becoming the star of that group,
Easily.
like far and away.
Easily.
I really hope he gets his Daniel Bryan moment one day.
Yeah. I feel like with the Hangman situation, though, I feel like they're kind of playing the long game with it.
Yeah, I'm starting to think so too.
Yeah, I think it'll be like a story where, like, the Dark Order, week by week, eventually gets, like, his confidence back to the point where he's confident joining another group.
Yeah, that could be one thing. There's really so many different directions they can go with it, because they can also have him like save the Dark Order. Like they could be getting, mauled by the Inner Circle, and he comes out and clears the ring or something. Like there's really a lot of different directions you can go with it, and that's what's so good about it, is that you don't feel like this is the end, and that it really is just the beginning, and we're just starting to get like the tease of it.
Yeah. I mean, like, so next week they announced it's going to be Dark Order against Good Brothers and the Young Bucks. What if the Young Bucks and Good Brothers, or just the Good Brothers, because maybe they don't want to turn the Young Bucks completely yet, are just beating the shit out of the Dark Order, and then Adam comes out and saves them?
Yeah, I think that's definitely an interesting route you can go with it, and that kind of plays into the we're not done yet. This isn't the end of the story. It's just a chapter. So there's definitely room to work with there.
Like, what if it turns into like a quote unquote the Elite versus the Dark Order
That would be pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, I would like that a lot.
with Adam Page, and then Adam could win the title off of Kenny.
Yeah, I think it would be too soon for that.
Not soon, but like since they're playing the long con game with it, they could give it months, like months on months. Because I think
Yeah.
Kenny's gonna hold the title for at least 6 months.
Oh, I think Kenny's gonna hold it for a full year. I don't think he's dropping it until at least 2022. Yeah, I think what's gonna happen is it's gonna eventually be Hangman at Revolution next year, taking it off of Kenny. No, I think the route they're gonna go with the Young Bucks is I think they're gonna try to redeem Kenny, and I see a lot of posturing coming from, let's call it, the East. There's some posturing out that way, and I think it's only a matter of time before we start seeing some New Japan guys pop up.
We need Kenta, bro.
Yeah, Kento's on Twitter or Instagram talking about how he doesn't want to have to come to Jacksonville to fight Mox. So who really knows? Before we start getting into too deep into other parts of the show, Starby and Starby,
That could be their tag team name,
dude, yeah, Starby,
Starby Allen.
yeah, that'll sound great. What the hell is going on here, dude? I like really don't get it. I'm trying to understand what's going on, but this feud is literally Sting walks out and then picks up a microphone, and then Taz starts yelling at him, and then it ends up being like, "We'll see you next week."
And then they end up just leaving.
It's like, okay, we're done. Let's head backstage again.
I was kind of hoping that the Cage Darby match was going to be the end of this in some way, and we would get Sting in the ring with not Team Taz. But as soon as I saw Sting was going to be in the ring with Darby, I'm like, yeah, if it's a promo, Team Taz is going to come out, 100%. And that's exactly what happened. They ended up coming out, interrupting Sting, went on the Titantron, he started talking about the streets. Taz tries to get Ricky Starks to say some stuff, but he's holding the mic a little bit too far away from his mouth, so we get like 75% of what Ricky Starks says. And they essentially challenged them to a street fight. It was announced later on that they accepted, and at Revolution, right? Revolution is going to be Cage and Ricky Starks against Darby and Sting in a street fight. The in-ring return of Steve the Stinger.
In what is likely to be a cinematic match because, Steve the Stinger has no back or neck. How are they going to do this?
If it's not cinematic, I'll be very, very surprised.
If it's not cinematic, it'll probably be a lot like the street fight between Best Friends and Santana and Ortiz. The last time either of those teams did something relevant.
Don't even remind me, bro. Shout out Santana and Ortiz, my Puerto Rican brothers. I just pre-ordered your AEW figures. Hit me up, follow me on Twitter so we could be Puerto Rican together.
I just don't know how much in a match setting Sting has to offer these days. And
he's pushing 60, right?
He's 62 already.
62.
Yeah, he is no spring chicken. And he had a match with Seth Rollins a few years ago, which means he got hurt in a match with Seth Rollins a few years ago. So
we're
it's
not supposed to bury people here. Fuck.
Dude, I couldn't help it.
But here we are burying Seth Rollins. Whatever, I'll allow it.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, what's he realistically going to be able to do, and is that going to help Darby's story?
Besides swing a baseball bat, at least he has a fucking foreign object to his name.
Yeah, that he's got that bat that seemingly materializes out of his bottomless pocket in his trench coat. Actually, since he's technically a senior citizen, you think he's got some Werthers in there with his bat?
Oh, 100%. He has some Werthers. He has that strawberry candy you'd get at your grandma's house. He has all the cookies from that blue cookie tin tray thing that your grandma puts yarn in. He has all the cookies in there, just munching on them.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with this. I'm not crazy about it. It feels like when Sting comes out, the segment dies. I feel like if you're marketing that you have Sting and that Sting is going to be appearing live, it shouldn't be Sting appearing live, picking up a mic, and then immediately getting drowned out by someone else.
Hey, man. That was a bar. On that note, next up, we have the quote-unquote elite having a meeting at Kenny Omega's house. They got there. Alex Marvez materializes out of nowhere. He has the Bray Wyatt teleportation skills enabled.
I actually find that very unsettling. I'll just throw it out there.
That he's just chilling outside of Kenny's house waiting for the Young Bucks to arrive?
Not that he's just chilling outside Kenny's house, is that he has the ability to appear from anywhere.
True, because later on, he appeared in the locker room when Kenny and Callis were trying to have some private conversation.
No, he walked in with Kenny. But Kenny walked through a door, Marvez just floated in like a phantom.
He's just always lurking. He just always wants to be a fly in the wall.
Not my favorite stuff from Marvez, but I'll let you finish with the recap before I get into it.
Basically, the whole story of the Elite for this episode was Young Bucks show up at Kenny's house to have a meeting with him and the rest of the quote-unquote Elite. But they get to Kenny's house, and they're not greeted by Kenny Omega. They're instead greeted by an oil painting of Kenny Omega and Don Callis as body guys, shirts off, pants below the waistline, and it made me uncomfortable.
I mean, when you're looking at someone as sexy as Don Callis, it's gonna make you uncomfortable. It's gonna make you question things. It's okay.
No, he's why I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was some grade A heel work. That was perfect. I loved it.
Yeah, he ends up telling the Young Bucks that he had it commissioned for Kenny's birthday, but Kenny's birthday was in October, I believe. They said either October or November, maybe March. I don't know.
It's October.
Yeah, definitely October. There's a good burn after after Don tries to basically buy the Young Bucks out of being friends with Kenny because they're holding him back. He gives them checks, and Matt says, "We used to work for that company you're the president of, so we know these checks are no good anyway," and they rip him up and throw it at him.
That was like, forget everything that Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone have said about Impact.
That's been the sickest burn.
That alone is enough for Impact to be like, wait, why are we doing this? We just got destroyed on national TV by these guys.
It's like even we know the checks are gonna bounce. Shout out to Generation Me though, Max and Jeremy Buck. Hopefully the Young Bucks appear on Impact soon, because I'm a mark.
I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But this whole angle is awesome. I love Don Callis, and I love that he's just this snaky weasel that's just manipulating Kenny.
Honestly, at first I didn't like it. But like as the weeks have gone on, I've started to fuck with it. Just cause like I feel like when they first started it, Kenny was like a little too over the top. But like now it seems like he's literally transformed into who he wants to be. Like literally like that's him. Like I feel like that's him even off camera. Did you see his outfit? He had a purple shirt
Phenomenal.
with pinstriped dress pants. He looked like a psychopath.
Outstanding.
But his shoes were fly. I think he looked crazy. But then again, that's his character.
Oh, he looked great.
That's some real heel shit.
Amazing. I'm liking this stuff with Don Callis. I think he's giving AEW a flavor that they didn't necessarily have, and that is like a real big bad heel manager. Taz is good, but like, man, Don Callis is a piece of shit.
Yeah, I legitimately hate Don Callis.
I can't wait for the Young Bucks to super kick the shit out of him. It's gonna be awesome.
I mean, we don't know that already happened.
Why we didn't get to see it? That's why I said I can't wait to see it.
Fuck you.
I know it already happened, but now they're just teasing us.
Yeah, we need to see the whole thing. Pause.
Yeah, no, Don knew what he was doing. If they're gonna super kick him, they're gonna make it count. And he put the camera there. He knew the camera was there. He stood in front of the camera so he couldn't see what happened, and then started yelling.
He plays it so perfectly.
Don's up to his tricks, man.
Up to his no good tricks.
I'm telling you right now, there's only going to be one thing that can save Kenny, and it's going to be Golden Love. Just think, Coda 2 straps coming for Kenny.
Don't get me excited.
Well, listen, I got to bring you back to reality after your whole uncomfortable looking at Don Callis, the body guy.
Oh no, but Kota Ibushi is a man I'll look at.
Well, he's a great athlete with a 28-inch waist. He's great to look at.
Beautiful man. Speaking of beautiful men, we had maybe the most beautiful man in our next match, and his name is Peter Avalon. And if you don't get the joke, Peter Avalon is ugly, but his gimmick is that he's pretty.
I mean, he's just a goofy-looking motherfucker. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Like, he doesn't look like Napoleon Dynamite, but he reminds me of Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, he's kind of got that same goofiness to him.
He had a big goofy motherfucker try to beat in Cody motherfucking Rhodes.
Yeah, so the story of this match is Cody comes out, says he's going to squash Peter Avalon, hits the crossroads in mere seconds, and then Jade Cargill comes out again. And this is another angle where I'm just not sure what they're trying to get at here.
This has been one of the worst angles they've tried to put out in, like, the history of AEW.
This is as bad as the Nightmare Collective.
In my opinion, it's worse. Because at least they had matches and they were on TV. Like, Shaq was on TV, literally once?
Yeah, I don't get what they're trying to do. It seems like they're going in action on an angle that they want to work with, but they don't have Brandy. Because Brandy can't go in the ring right now. So, is she teasing Cody? Like, is she trying to seduce him?
I think she's just trying to bitch him out.
I guess.
Essentially, Cody could have won the match within, 10 seconds if he wasn't stupid and got distracted over a woman coming out.
Yeah, he got distracted by Jade, and then Peter took advantage, and, well, let's just say that Brandy's lucky she's got one in the oven right now, because after that kick from Peter Avalon, who knows if Cody's going to be able to make any babies after this one.
Baby number 2 might not be a go.
Oh, Baby Rhodes might be an only child, because that was a vicious kick from Pretty Peter.
Yeah.
Pretty Peter right to Cody's Peter. Yeah, so I mean, again, from that,
fucking
just,
crying.
Standard match from there.
I'm crying.
Huh?
Pretty Peter to Cody's Peter. Oh God, Jesus! Pretty
Uh,
Peter ends up hitting a superplex, double clothesline down spot follows that. Commercial break. Avalon hits a big moonsault off the top. Story of the match itself, post Jade Cargill coming out, was Avalon really attacking that left leg of Cody. Cody goes for a leapfrog, kind of lands awkwardly. Like it was like a low blow, but also him landing awkwardly on his leg. It was like a weird botch that I don't think was supposed to be a botch, but they botched it.
well, I don't think most botches are supposed to be botches.
God, suck a dick. Um, Cody
Maybe I'll suck Pretty Peter.
Cody ends up hitting a power slam on Avalon out of the corner. We need to stop this. we need to dead Pretty Peter's Peter now.
What? It's the triple P.
We can't continue calling him or anything that.
All right. Let's get back on track.
Pretty Peter runs into a power slam. Cody puts him in the figure four. Avalon ends up smacking the fuck out of him, and before Cody can return the favor, Avalon is too scared to get smacked in his beautiful face, so he just taps out.
Yeah. Nothing special. Normal TV match. A couple of decent high spots, but that was really a segment where they were trying to push the Jade Cargill, Cody Rhodes story.
And it didn't work. Try better next week, please.
It's just they're just building to something that's not gonna live up to anything. Love Shaq, guy's funny, but he's never gonna be able to go in the ring, and it's gonna end up being a complete clusterfuck of a match if it ever happens.
Because even at this point, if he gets a proxy, it'll just be like, why couldn't we do this from the beginning?
Right, he's gonna be standing in someone's corner the way Snoop Dogg stood in Cody's corner with the Waffle House menu. It's just there's not gonna be anything that positive that comes from it.
Absolutely not.
Oh well, we'll see where it goes. But, definitely starting an angle that definitely needed Brandy right as Brandy was pregnant.
Speaking of pregnant, another wrestler that works for AEW with a pregnant wife back at home, Jonathan Moxley is back in action. He's returned after being off TV for what, like a month and a half, right?
He was gone for about a month, and then he came back and got his ass kicked by the Good Brothers.
Yes. I forgot that happened.
After he confronted Kenny.
It was him versus Nick Camarado of AEW Dark fame, according to his record, I would assume, because he was 0-2. Make that 0-3 now. Good luck next time, Nick.
Really, again, nothing really special here. It was really just a match to get John Moxley on TV, get him a match, and give him an opportunity to talk about his beef with Kenny and the rest of the elite.
Camarado does have a really good look to him, though. Really agile for a big dude.
Yeah, I wonder. Actually, I'm going to look it up right now. I'm going to see how old he is. Because that guy.
He looks like he's 40 in the face.
Oh, yeah, no. That dude looks like he's like lived in the mountains for 30 years.
He looks grizzled.
So,
Big Nick Camarado fans here at the pod.
So he's 29.
29.
Oh, he was in NXT for a year.
Huh.
Just like the training center, though. It doesn't look like he ever made it on TV.
Huh. The more you know.
Amazing what we can find out on the fly these days.
Yeah, shout out to Google. So wait, this was a match between two former WWE superstars?
Well, I mean, this dude never got on TV.
He was signed.
Yeah, and he wasn't a superstar, man. He was a trainee.
He's a superstar in my heart. Shout out to Nick Camarado.
All right, what's his finisher?
So after this match, we had Eddie Kingston cut a promo. We had Eddie Kingston call a promo. He ends up talking shit about Pac, but in the middle of him talking shit about Pac, he quickly turns his focus to Lance Archer, who also just appears out of nowhere with Jake the Snake. They start talking shit to each other, and they set up a match for next week between the two.
I'm not gonna lie, this is one of those, again, I'm not gonna say I don't understand what's going on with it, because they obviously very clearly have reason for beef over the last few months.
Yeah, it all stems back to the Battle Royal they had.
The Battle Royal for the number one contender spot that Lance Archer won. But this isn't going to be one of those things where I'm not excited to see it, because I love Lance Archer and I love Eddie Kingston. So I think that give these two the time, they will have a great match. Just give Eddie a mic and give Jake Roberts a mic and let them just build it. Because those two are just, Jake is still so good and Eddie is shit. Eddie's untouchable on the mic. He is so good.
In my opinion, the best promo in the business right now.
He's definitely one of them for certain.
Top 3 easily.
That promo that he cut on a cookie on an episode of BTE was like,
Brought a tear to my eye.
it was a masterpiece. It was a piece of art. Yeah, that guy can cut a promo on anything and anyone. So I'm literally looking forward to this a lot, even though there's like not a ton of build to it.
It's kind of like two different sides of the spectrum, because I feel like a lot of people shit on WWE for not having long-term storytelling or long-term booking. I feel like sometimes AEW books their feuds too long. Like, they should execute on them quicker, or at least some of them. They should execute them quicker. Because I feel like these guys could have fought each other a month ago and just deaded the beef.
Yeah, they definitely could have.
But hey, I'm a big fan of both of them. I'm excited to see what kind of match they have next week. I see Archer going over in that shit. But I feel like Kingston also like needs to start racking up like meaningful wins.
I don't think he will until he turns face. I think he's going to have a big baby face turn, and I think he's going to get a run somewhere. He's one of those guys where, like, after his feud with Mox for the title, you can't not ever put the title on him. He has shown how much it means to him and like how much he sacrificed to get this opportunity. And it's literally his first ever real opportunity. And he showed how much it means to him. And now all of a sudden, like, you're not gonna ever put the title on him. Like, he's the kind of guy that if you give him a meaningful face run, like, he's the type of guy that him winning the title will
100%. Even if he's a heel and he wins the title, whatever promo he cuts after is probably gonna have me in tears.
No, he's got to be a baby face, and his mom's got to be sitting at ringside.
He has to look her in the eye and be like, "This is why you don't have grandchildren," just like he said he was going to.
That would really be something.
Shout out to Eddie Kingston, man.
Let's get more of Eddie Kingston. I love him. But you know who I don't love?
Who?
Alex Marvez. We touched on it earlier, but that dude just phased through a wall or something as Kenny was walking into the building and immediately starts harassing the champ.
Yeah, they need to get Marvez a desk job.
They tried that, and then he didn't do so good, so now he's running around with a microphone.
No, but not on that desk.
Oh, just...
And we're not supposed to be burying people here.
I'm not burying him. I'm just saying he got an opportunity, and he did not do well.
You know what, Marvez? We love you.
I mean, if Marvez wants to, like, phase through a bank wall and get me, like... Yeah, I'm not even asking for, like, $1 million. Just get me, like, $150K. Let me get a clean slate for myself, and we'll be good.
Yeah, if he's going to have powers, he might as well use them for good and not to harass Kenny Omega.
Yeah, because being a harassing backstage interviewer with that type of ability is just not productive for anyone.
That has to be a HR problem.
You know, Marvez rudely follows Kenny into his locker room, and Don's there. Don's got the big black eye. Kenny's concerned. You know what I really liked about this is that Don didn't say that Matt and Nick did it.
He just said their names.
He just said, look, Matt and Nick, and then stopped. And Kenny was like, Matt and Nick did this to you? And then they turned and looked at Marvez and like, what are you doing? Get out of here. And that was the end of the segment.
He didn't snitch, at least.
So that was interesting development. I think what they're going to do, and I think he's going to use this as a way to drive a wedge between Kenny and the Bucks.
100%.
Yeah, he's just going to continue to play off the like, oh, well, Don's a great guy. You attacked him, and he refused to tell me that you attacked him because he knows how important you are to me, and he doesn't want us to lose our friendship.
Like you said earlier, Don is just the slime of the fucking earth. Like, he's just a fucking scumbag. He's 100% gonna try to drive some sort of wedge between them as friends. It's either gonna be that or just Kenny just fucking with the Good Brothers more. There's gonna be a wedge driven between them.
There has to be. There was more to the show than this, though, because we got a great six-man tag out of this between Matt Sydal and Top Flight and the Hardy Party, Matt Hardy and Private Party. I don't know about you, but I was actually very excited for this match.
As was I.
I'm a big Private Party fan. I'm a big Matt Sydal fan.
I love Matt Sydal, man.
Matt Hardy sucks. He's a carny motherfucker. So
yeah, he's a money-grabbing carny.
I really like Top Flight. I think there's a lot of potential there. I really like this match.
For Top Flight not having that much experience, they're actually relatively fluid and smooth in the ring aside from that botch they had.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is that I think Darius is, 21 and Dante's 19?
I believe so.
Something like
that?
I
believe so, or like 22 and 19.
They're young. They got a lot of room to grow. So I don't really think we need to get too deep into this match.
It was just high spot after high spot.
Yeah.
It was insane.
It was exactly what you expected from a match including Private Party, Top Flight, and Matt Sydal.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, the big story coming out of this match is, Private Party completely turning heel, towards the end of the match. Top Flight has Mark Quinn up top on the top rope. They're going for a double Spanish fly. Isaiah Cassidy grabs a steel chair from the outside. Nails, I believe,
It's Dante.
Dante in the ribs with it. They end up hitting Gin and Juice for the win, I think.
No, it wasn't Gin and Juice. Isaiah Cassidy
What
hit
did
him
they
with the
hit?
steel chair.
Oh no, he hit the shooting star press.
Yeah, Mark Quinn hit you shooting star press after Isaiah Cassidy interfered and hit him with the chair.
High ass shooting star press, and then he clipped his foot on the way down, and I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah, I swear to God, the only thing I'm upset about with that match is that we didn't have dueling shooting star presses between Matt Seidel and Mark Quinn.
Oh man, that would have been dope.
Those are two of the most beautiful shooting stars in the business.
And they both almost botched them, or one was a botch, the other one was almost a botch.
I remember call back to All Out. I remember when Matt Seidel came out, and I was sitting there by myself like, all right, this is gonna be a treat. He's gonna come in, he's gonna hit that gorgeous shooting star press, and then that goddamn Michael Nakazawa oiled up the ropes on him.
Goddamn, Michael Nakazawa-san. Kenny's butler, apparently. Going back to the promos at Kenny's house, he's Kenny's butler.
That's weird seeing Nakazawa act normal and not covered in baby oil.
Yeah, he had like a polo shirt on.
Yeah, you know what? The picture of Don as a body guy made you uncomfortable. Nakazawa not in baby oil made me uncomfortable. That wasn't right, man.
The baby oil just really does it for you.
It really just kind of sells and pulls it all together.
Oh man. Speaking of selling, this Top Flight versus Private Party feud in the future is gonna be selling a lot of tickets once they get fans back in the stadium.
Yeah, I really like where they're going with it because I think the angle that they're going to play up is Matt Hardy's going to create a monster he can't control, and I think Private Party's going to turn on him.
I said last week that I don't even remember if I said it, or maybe I wrote it in the notes and deleted it, but that like Matt Hardy teaming up with somebody in the future against them would be cool, but them completely turning heel and fucking up Matt would be so much better. Because honestly, I didn't picture them as heels until I saw them as heels, and I'm like, yeah, this could fucking work.
Yeah, a couple of like cocky party boys totally work. It's easy. It writes itself.
Yeah.
I mean, Shawn Michaels went through the entire 90s with that gimmick.
Yeah, literally. And look where he ended up.
Exactly. I just hope Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn don't lose their smile or screw someone.
Or screw someone over.
Hopefully they're not seeing too many sunny days down there in Florida.
I don't even have anything to say.
You don't. There's no way to come back from that one.
That was a nasty burn. Fuck Bret Hart. Next up on the card, we had Layla Hirsch versus Penelope Ford. Originally, this was supposed to be Layla Hirsch against Nyla Rose, but unfortunately, Nyla Rose contracted COVID, so she'll be off TV for at least a couple weeks. Wish her a speedy recovery. Penelope Ford comes out with Kip and Miro, and they are accompanied by Charles Taylor, formerly known as Chuck Taylor, the Kentucky Gentleman. Per their stipulation from last week, he has to be Miro's young boy. So yeah, that comes into play during the match because at one point he trips Layla while she's running the ropes and Penelope takes over the match. The finish of this match saw Penelope hitting a pump kick on Layla and Kip holding Layla's foot while she was trying to kick out from the outside, and Penelope picked up a somewhat shocking win in my opinion, because I completely saw Layla Hirsch going into the smash, and I don't know why, but I just thought she would.
Yeah, I mean, Layla Hirsch looked really good that match. She was definitely, I definitely thought she was carrying that match for chunks of it, which you really don't see with like someone who's not signed versus someone who is signed. So that was a really interesting dynamic. I think it's only a matter of time before they actually like go all in and sign Layla Hirsch legit.
Yeah, 'cause she's great.
She's really good. Like, I do think she's really good in the ring, but she just carried Penelope, and Penelope's one of those people that like I have very mixed feelings on her. I used to think that she was only like 23, and I was just like, oh, she's got plenty of time. She can still be like really, really good, and she can really get better in the ring. But she's like 27, 28. I don't know how much time she has left to develop. And I know obviously there's people like Becky Lynch, women who have developed their in-ring ability as they got older. They got better in the ring. But like Becky always had a great base to work with.
Becky and Bayley. I think you could add Bayley to that list.
And their big heel turns like really kind of push them, whereas Penelope's already a heel and she's really just like Kip Sabian's smirking fiance.
I feel like it kind of comes down to just her not getting enough reps, whether it's on Dark or on Dynamite, but I just feel like she just hasn't had that many matches in AEW in general, and she was like among one of the first women to be signed there, along with Britt Baker, essentially.
I mean, if she can get better in the ring, she's got all the rest of the tools. She's a pretty good talker. She's obviously beautiful. She has a great look to her. Her theme music is a banger. I love that song. I listen to it in the car regularly, and it's one of those songs where I will double back to it and listen again after I've listened to it once. So everything is set up for her to be a massive star, but it really comes down to like you really got to be able to go in the ring. You don't need to be like Hikaru Shida to be like a star, but I'll even say she just needs to be like a little bit better than she is now.
Also, AEW has to book their women's division better because apparently on the show alone, their women's division only got like 4 minutes of airtime.
Yeah.
So if that's not telling, then But also, we're not going to beat a dead horse. We know that AEW sucks at booking their women. Hopefully, this is one of the few times we bring it up, but I doubt that.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things that's gonna like it's been happening for how long has Dynamite been going on?
Over a year,
Like
closer to a year and a half.
yeah, like 15 months or something
Yeah.
now, and it's still going. But I mean the women's number one contender tournament is coming up.
I'm excited
So
for that. They announced that during this show. They had the American flag on one side, Japanese flag on one side. So if it's a Japanese versus America thing, I'm all for it because we know how good Japanese women's wrestlers are.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do though, and like I imagine like Riho, Emi Sakura, Yuka Sakazaki will definitely be on the Japan side of the card. It'll be interesting to see how they fill out the rest of it, but there really is a ton of potential there, and this really could be like if they because it looks like what they're gonna do is have some of their Japanese talent. I believe were they partner? Did they partner with Stardom, or was there another women's promotion that they partnered with?
I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was Stardom.
Yeah, there was a women's promotion that they partnered with, and I imagine some talent's gonna come from that.
Yeah, I'm just upset that Meiko Satomura signed with WWE. Like, imagine if she was in this tournament.
Yeah, well, you can't win them all.
Yeah, she's nasty. Shout out to Meiko Satomura.
So I mean, hopefully this women's championship eliminator tournament will actually like turn into real TV time for some of these women because there really is a lot of talent there.
I don't have a segue for this one.
That Inner Circle tag team match, I am going to be dead honest. Jericho's not really doing it for me. MJF isn't really doing it for me. I don't even have to get started on how much I hated this match, just at the idea that the official tag team of the Inner Circle was like up for debate because it should be Santana and Ortiz, unquestioned.
Easily, with ease.
Like I'll be straight up. I didn't watch this match because I just think that this is just a contrived angle, and I think it's bad. I don't think there's anything good about this angle. I know MJF's doing his little Weasley thing, and if anything, I think what ultimately is going to come out of this angle is MJF is going to end up in a foursome with Wardlow, Santana, and Ortiz. I really think that's going to be it.
Wardlow, Santana, Ortiz?
Yeah, as MJF's squad. Sammy's probably going to break off on his own and go on a singles run.
Huh.
And it'll just be like Jericho with Hager as his heater.
What about this idea? And I stole it from somebody, so I'm not going to act like I thought of it myself. What if Sammy just turns on Jericho before Jericho can turn on him, and like him and MJF lead Inner Circle? No, well, not like lead it, but like it's like MJF is the leader, but Sammy is also like a prominent part of the group, and everybody else in the group stays the same except for Jericho.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't see how the match ended, so I didn't see how Sammy factored into everything, but
yeah, Sammy was on fire this match. He was literally all over the place. He started the match with MJF, but then MJF fucking weaseled his way out of that and tagged in Jericho. And then after that, all respect was out the window. Sammy chopped the fuck out of Jericho's chest. Like, that shit was beat red. It was 49ers red. Shout out the Niners. The finish of the match was Sammy was doling out fucking super kicks and fucking go to hells to everybody, which is the move that Dijak had beef with him over.
Oh, good. He just spammed the move that Dijak bitched at him about.
Yeah, he went for it like at least 3 times and hit it at least twice.
Oh wait, I'm sorry, Dijakovic, T-Bar.
T-Bag.
Yeah, that dude.
Shout out to Dijak though. He's from Massachusetts. We got a rep.
Was T-Bar the one that was wearing a paper plate? on his face?
No, that's Slapjack.
Is that Dio Madden?
No, that's Mace. Mace is Dio
Dude,
Madden.
I don't.
Slapjack is Shane Thorne.
Well, I'll get into a fun fact in a second about Mace, but
Yeah, so anyways, I think the finisher is more impressive on Sammy Guevara anyway, just because he's smaller.
oh yeah, he pulls it off better. But yeah, I don't watch Raw. I don't watch. It's just I can't do it. It hurts.
Yeah, Raw's ass.
But fun fact about Mace, I played football against him in high school.
Really?
He is also from Massachusetts.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit. The more you know. You body his shit?
Huh?
Did you body his shit?
No, dude. He was as big as he is now in high school.
Yeah, he's like 6'8". That dude's a freak.
So I was only on the sidelines. I very loosely say that I played against him.
Oh, okay. I thought that like y'all like lined up against each other on the line or some shit.
No. We went to rival schools, and he is a couple years older than me.
Ah, okay.
But my sophomore year of high school, he was a senior on his way to UNC to play football.
What a beast.
Fortunately, we had our own guy that was just like him. He was like 6'4", jacked out of his mind. He actually kind of pushed Dio Madden around a little bit. It's pretty cool watching those two go at it.
Damn, fucking shout out to Mace, bro. Massachusetts man.
So back to this completely unrelated match that we were talking about.
Yeah, we just got into a little tidbit about Dio Madden in Massachusetts. So yeah, the finish saw he hit a go to hell on Jericho. Jericho actually sold like he didn't take the move well, but he sold it well. And then he got MJF up for it. Wardlow got on the apron, I believe, and he tried to hit him off with MJF, and then MJF just ended up rolling him up with a handful of tights. And literally the match ended with 5 seconds left of TV time. So you could even see what happened after the match.
That was probably on purpose, if I had to guess, to make it seem like a chaotic ending. So you have to tune in next week to find out about the fallout.
Maybe. Could be, but it could be, but the finish also seemed kind of rushed.
It is possible with a 3-team tag that you lost track of time. So one thing I actually did see from this match, I saw Jericho's, I'm going to call it botched lion salt.
Ah, yes. It wasn't his fault, though.
I actually noticed that earlier. If you go back and watch the opening match, Jack Evans went for a springboard 450, and he almost ate it. And if Jack Evans almost ate it because of it had to have been the ropes. There's no way they were tight enough that night.
I mean, it was either
Evans
that, but with the Jericho botch, it looked like Hager was on the outside holding the rope. So, like, it gave it less tension.
Maybe, but like Jack Evans' springboard 450 was from the exact same spot Jericho tried to do the lion salt. So I think the ropes might have just not been pulled tight enough on Wednesday night, because it looked like the same issue.
But yeah, that was hard to watch.
Last thing you want to see, like I'm not crazy about Jericho right now, but you don't want to see another Hayabusa incident.
Hell no. You don't want like another fucking draws incident.
And if you don't know who Hayabusa is,
Legend.
Absolute legend of the Japanese wrestling scene.
Pioneer in the high flying style.
He went for that middle rope moonsault that Chris Jericho calls the lion salt. He did not make that full rotation he needed on the backflip and landed square on his neck.
Unfortunately.
You can find it on YouTube if you have the stomach for it.
Hayabusa's gross. In a great way. Speaking of gross.
In a bad way.
Let's get in a terrible way. Let's get into some terrible takes that set the wrestling Twitter ablaze. When The Undertaker appeared on the Joe Rogan Experience, I believe yesterday or 2 days ago. I watched the whole thing, or listened to the whole thing while I was at work. It was a whole 3 hours of him talking about the business back then, the Undertaker character itself, and among other things, he talked about his thoughts on the current WWE product. He says that the product has lost its edge and substance, and that it is because the vets of his era all got old around the same time, so they weren't able to work in ring with a lot of the current talent and lend their knowledge to them. I don't necessarily see how that correlates in a way, because I feel like the edge is more so based on the booking, and the talent doesn't control the booking. But that's cool. He also went on to say that back in the day, he would walk into a locker room and all he would see is quote-unquote men, and now all you see is people playing video games and worrying about looking pretty. That is essentially a direct quote.
What's interesting about that comment is when they were earlier in that podcast, when they were talking about the rampant drug use of the past eras, he's saying I walk in the locker room and I see men. Now I walk in and see boys. It's like, well, the guys you were also walking in and seeing were also like coked out of their mind. They were popping pills. It was bad.
He literally said some guys had guns or knives in their bags and shit got handled. What does that even mean? Like, huh?
That means Undertaker is from a bygone era, and it's a good thing that he's not in the locker room anymore.
But like, what does he want to see? That's what I want to know. Is what does he want to see out of the current locker room?
I don't know. I think a lot of the guys from the Undertaker's era worked themselves into believing who they were on TV.
They all work themselves into shoots.
Brother. It's just one of those things where it's like, these guys that are all acting hard and tough and they're walking around with their guns and their knives and shit. It's like, well, A, why would you even need that in a locker room? It's supposed to be a workplace.
Nowadays. Even back then, you didn't necessarily need it.
I'm sure there were towns where you did need to have that kind of stuff on you because people were more rabid about it back in the day.
True.
So, like, I'm not going to fault a wrestler for taking time to, like, make sure they're protected. But to sit there and, like, criticize it now, it's like, and this is something that Matt Hardy said back in 2017 when they returned to WWE, the environment in the locker room is more corporate now. So if you have a more corporate environment, you're not going to have these situations where guys are going to have to work their own stuff out. Instead, you have situations where guys are more likely to settle beef over like a game of Madden than they are over like a fist fight. And I, for one, think that's better. It creates a better culture for the locker room and makes everyone feel part of something. I understand some of the past stuff that happened, like the stuff with The Miz that I kind of find hilarious, but at the end of the day, you're all supposed to be professionals. If anything like that happened in a normal workplace, then you would be fired immediately.
Yeah, some of the stories are hilarious, but also if you just really think about them, they're also just very unnecessary.
Oh, they're wicked fucked.
Like, you could have just not done this and just worked like regular people, and it would have been fine. And that's why I, along with a lot of the wrestlers speaking out against what the Undertaker said, prefer the locker room that we have now, because it's a more chilled environment. Everybody like actually gives a fuck about each other. Like, they're not there trying to screw each other over or worried about their spot and like holding other people down, at least for the most part. It obviously still happens here and there. Like, no workplace is going to be perfect, but it's also not like what the Undertaker said at all. And I don't know why he would want it to be like that, just because in his eyes that's the right way. It's also just toxic masculinity if you really get into it.
Oh, yeah, that really is what it boils down to. Because back then it was a bunch of roided up guys acting like roided up guys.
Yeah, and people don't even do roids now. Like he even talked about it during the same podcast that like everything is different. Everybody back then had to be on juice because they had to be on TV. It's the same way that you just said some people had to have guns and knives to protect themselves in certain states, going to certain shows, working for certain promotions. Sometimes you had to. You don't anymore. Like, we're not living in that same exact world back in like 1985 or whenever the fuck he started. 81, I think he said some shit.
The Undertaker's made his statement, and it's kind of an old man yells at cloud situation. I don't really think it's gonna go anywhere. I think the guys who want to say something have said something, and it's just one of those, the legend needs to know when it's time to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, because also just because you're a legend, it doesn't mean that we always have to get your opinion on what you think. And granted, it was an interview and he was asked his opinion on the current product, but you also don't necessarily, again, have to take it there. Because it's also just a terrible take.
It was kind of one of those things where, sure, you were asked about it, but you've been in the business long enough to know, like, to have some tact to your answers, and that certainly didn't have any.
Oh yeah, cause he also called them soft, and literally right before he said that, he said, "I know people are gonna get mad, but they have to hear this." Like, what? We don't have to hear anything from you.
That's a giant red flag saying I'm a douchebag.
100%. That's like saying no offense and then just offending someone. Like, yo, no offense, but you a bitch.
Yeah.
And I think I could dog you out in a fight. Like, what? I'm smacking the shit out of you. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
No disrespect though.
So.
Fucking Undertaker. Fuck Joe Delazapa, my boy. You're a mark for the Undertaker. Fuck you. Defend his takes now, little bitch. Sorry, I had to get that out. Speaking of getting out, is NXT gonna be getting the fuck out of Wednesday night prime time on USA? Please tell me more because you know way more about this
All
than I
right.
do.
So this is an amazing development. NBC announced that they're killing NBC Sports Network. Now, for the hockey fans out there, you know that Wednesday nights on NBC Sports Network during hockey season is NHL Game of the Week. Well, you might be thinking to yourself, what does this have to do with AEW and NXT and the Wednesday Night Wars? Well, I'll tell you what. According to NBC, NHL games, the English Premier League, and NASCAR events are going to be moved from NBC Sports Network to the USA Network, which Wednesday nights, NBC Sports Network is going to be getting the National Hockey League games. Now, the NHL contract is up at the end of this year. So there's still a lot that can happen between now and then. But this could be colossal for AEW because just by virtue of NBC killing NBC Sports Network and potentially moving the NHL weekly broadcast over to USA, that could totally shift the balance of power in the Wednesday Night Wars. And it would kill the Wednesday Night Wars because we know now the people who watch hockey are watching hockey and the people who are watching wrestling are watching wrestling. Or if you're like me and have 6 TVs in your basement, you're watching both at the same time.
He does. I can confirm. I've been in said basement.
It's great. It's awesome. I love it. But you end up in these situations. You end up in the situation now where NXT might be forced out of that Wednesday primetime slot if NBC decides to put the NHL on USA Network. Everyone that channel flips between AEW and NXT are going to just be watching AEW, which means the ratings are going to be more consistent. The ratings are probably going to grow. And like this could actually have a massive, massive impact on the future of AEW and NXT. AEW might be growing based off of WWE's broadcast partner killing one of their channels. That's mind blowing. I know looking at the ratings right now, what they're going to have to decide is do they want weekly, year round, a consistent 600 to 700,000 viewers on NXT, or do they want to get those big market million plus viewers on some of these nationally broadcast hockey games?
So with all of that potentially going on, in your opinion, if they move NXT out of the Wednesday night primetime slot and put in the NHL game of the week once the NHL season starts again, right? Because they're not playing right now. I don't know. I don't watch hockey.
Yeah, they're back playing right now.
Oh,
For
okay.
reference, opening week they had a triple header on a Wednesday night, and the first game of the triple header
Oof.
averaged somewhere in the ballpark of like 1.1 million viewers throughout.
So with all that, in your opinion, with AEW being what it is, averaging on really good weeks like at least 800K viewers a week, and Raw's ratings being at an all-time low, if they move NXT out of the primetime slot, do you think AEW can reach the same numbers as Raw, if not surpass them?
You have Raw's numbers on hand.
I could check.
Last I heard, Raw was still drawing about 2 million per episode.
No, last I checked, at least when they hit their low, it was fairly recently. Like within the last month, they got like 1.7 million.
Yeah, well, I mean, even AEW's best days have been like 1 or 1.2 tops. So, I mean, it's possible. I don't think it's likely. I think Raw still has the advantage of being something that's been embedded in wrestling culture for 20 plus years.
Earlier this month, this article was posted on January 6th. It said they got 2.1 million.
Yeah, so I mean, that's still a really long way to go. Even if they're both in the ballpark of like a million plus, not every viewer from NXT is going to jump over to watch AEW. But the people that have to pick one or the other and watch the other one recorded later, they're not going to have to choose anymore. They're just going to get to pick one. They're just going to have AEW.
Then let me rephrase the question. Do you think they'll at least be big enough ratings wise to be on the radar of WWE, like more so in the fact that they'll switch up their main roster shit and like get more creative and do somewhat of an overhaul because of how good AEW could be doing?
As long as they're not in direct competition on the same night, I don't think WWE is going to worry about anything.
Okay, reasonable take.
WWE is so ingrained at this point. WWE is the kind of show that gets a million viewers out of habit on any of their programs, except NXT. So, like Raw, SmackDown, at this point, you're just getting it. Like right now, well, I know SmackDown just finished up, but I know you just had SmackDown on in the background. Again, we record this on Friday night. How much of that is habit versus how much you actually want to like sit down and watch it? I know SmackDown's actually been pretty decent lately, but
With SmackDown, it's more so because I want to watch it. With Raw, it's definitely out of habit. Like I'm just like, oh, cool, it's Monday. It's about to be 8 o'clock. Let me just turn on Raw, I guess. Then just
Yeah.
have it playing in the background while I'm either just on my phone or playing video games or like editing a video or something.
Right. It's just one of those things where like it's there, it's happening, but I don't really think anyone is really going to get too worked up about AEW either catching or not catching Raw. But I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, because also we're not thinking in the inverse because the same people that flip between AEW and NXT, but they mainly watch AEW, they could also watch NXT now. So the NXT ratings could also improve.
Right. It can be two sides of the coin there. And I actually think we would actually probably see NXT ratings go higher than AEW's ratings in that now that you mention it.
Yeah, I feel like AEW fans at least fuck with NXT.
Yeah.
They don't fuck with main roster shit, but they fuck with NXT.
Yeah, I feel like there's more people who are more inclined to watch NXT if AEW's not on than vice versa.
If they end up moving NXT, it'll be good for wrestling the same way that AEW becoming a thing, which is good for wrestling, you know?
Yeah. It'll be a rising tide that raises all ships.
Yeah, or all shits.
Dude, that's possible.
If both shows just get terrible.
Never thought of it like that.
You never know.
What if Lars Anderson gets pushed?
For like the fifth time?
Yeah.
On NXT this time, though?
And then gets stopped again because they remember that.
He's a nasty man.
Yeah, I think Vince loves him so much because he wants to bang Stephanie as bad as Vince does.
I'm editing that out.
And that's where we're ending for the night.
I'm editing that out. We're not gonna talk about Lars Sullivan. Oh, no.
All right, guys, it was a ton of fun joining you tonight, Gio. Hopefully we can keep this going in the future. I think we had a lot of fun tonight.
Pause.
Definitely a lot more energy than your last one. You sounded like, Gio and not someone stealing Gio's body.
I mean, you don't know. What if I'm like the little skinny alien from Men in Black?
Yo, I'd actually be pretty chill with that. I'd like that a lot. Those guys seems like they'd be fun to drink some tequila with.
We'll find out one day.
One of these days. Maybe when the coronavirus is gone. Anyway, thanks guys. Thanks Gio. Let's
Thank you for joining me, man. I really appreciate it.
leave some comments. Let us know how we did. Let us know
Yeah, let us know.
if you want some more of this.
Let us know if you fuck with the new format. Honestly, even if you guys don't fuck with it, we might still do it again. Fuck it.
Yeah. We might just go with a big fuck you and just record this and drop it every week.
Work you guys into a shoot.
Brother.
Brother. Yeah, thank you again, Eric, man.
Later, bros.
Peace.